Um, but anyway, so I was driving around L.A. and I saw all these billboards that said Dumbo, March 29th. And I'm like, oh, my God, I'm going to take my kid to a movie. She's big enough now. We're going to go there. We'll get some popcorn and candy and some fucking drinks, and the whole thing's going to be great. So we went over there. You know, my wife was going to come with me, and then at the last second, she got something she had to go do, and she goes, you just go, you go. This would be good, you know, bonding time, daughter with her dad. So we go there, and and first of all, I couldn't find the fucking movie, like which theater we were supposed to go in. They were all numbered, you know, when you can't find your gate at the airport, and I fucked that whole thing up somehow. I'm like, where the fuck is this? You know, and I went to therapy about my anger, so I'm really trying to keep it cool. And I'm just like, who came up with the numbering system here that I can't find, you know, theater number 9 or whatever, right? So it turns out because it was like the IMAX, Dolby surround sound fucking, and I was just like, wow, they're going all out. So, you know, it's hilarious. So I'm sitting there carrying all her stuff, carrying the popcorn. I'm leaving this trail of popcorn and stuff, but I'm loving every second. And we get in there, and we have like these individual seats that like recline. So I set her in the seat next to me. There's this old dude sitting next to me, a couple other people in our row. We went to like the 10:30 in the morning showing, right? And I sit her down, and I put the big box of bag of popcorn, right? You know, she's sitting there, you know, little cute little legs, right? Put her right between her legs, right? She's just sitting there, and she's just eating it. And she's just looking over at me like, I don't know what this is, but I'm in. I love this, right? I'm keeping away from the candy, though, you know, the sugar or whatever, right? So just the salt, right? I mean, what am I going to do? I have this weird thing where I'm feeding her healthy food, but like also I think a kid should have McDonald's. Like I'm not going to take it to that fucking level. You know, gluten-free fucking pizza. I mean, at some point, you know, I don't know. It's probably a bad thing, but whatever. Everybody raises their kid the way they want to. Like I think you got to have a balance of like a little more progressive shit with also, you know, they fall down, you say rub some dirt on it. You know what I mean? You don't want an animal, but you don't want a pussy either. You got to have that fucking you got to raise somebody that's going to be able to go out in the world and be able to stick up for themselves. And I think that starts at McDonald's. No. Anyway, so we're sitting there, and the coming attractions are happening, you know, and everything's fine or whatever. And she's just eating the popcorn like she's just like fish to water. Like, oh, I get this. I watch this, and I eat this popcorn. I sit in this great chair. She's not even looking at me, right? And then the movie starts. And it didn't even dawn. I thought it was a cartoon. I thought it was an animated thing, right? I didn't fucking realize that it was live action and Tim Burton made it. This was not a kid's movie. And it was like PG or whatever, which is, you know, PG's a joke. But when you got like a 2-year-old, you know, this fucking guy's like yelling at the elephants and being all mean, you know, Hollywood's whole, you know, zoos are bad, circuses are bad kind of theme, you know? And we got about fucking 3 minutes into it, and she looked over at me, and she put her arms up, which means, you know, pick me up. And I was like, oh, shit. And it was loud. So I picked her up. No, she had talked a little bit, and the guy next to me kind of looked over at me like, what the fuck? And I'm thinking, like, really, dude, we're at Dumbo. I got a little kid, the kid's talking. And then all of a sudden I put it together, oh, he's looking at me like, what the fuck did you bring a kid to a Tim Burton movie for? So now she's in my arms with her head buried into my neck, which she does when she's shy, when there's too many people around or she's uncomfortable. And so now I'm sitting there trying to be like, oh, hey, honey, look at the elephants. Look at the elephants. And she's just sort of looking back at the screen and then, you know, going back. And then after, like, I swear to God, we made maybe 15 minutes, and I just whispered in her ear, and I just go, you want to go home to mommy? And she just goes, yeah. I was like, all right, we're out of here. So I only saw the first 15, 20 minutes of it. All I can tell you is Danny DeVito, as always, crushing it. I was loving him. Colin Farrell was in it. I mean, I was enjoying it. It's Tim Burton. I was having a good time. You know what's funny? Before I went over there, you know, somebody was trying to say, hey, you know, that thing didn't do too well on fucking Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm like, well, what kind of fucking, what do they got, 5-year-olds going on Rotten Tomatoes being like, kind of a ripoff of Pinocchio. And once I got there and I looked, you know, I don't know. I think when I got home was when somebody told me it was a Tim Burton movie. But as I was walking out, I just was. The whole thing felt bad. Like there was a fight, and this guy was punching this guy in the face. And I was like, oh, this is fucking like, which is just shit I've always watched. But now I got a kid there. I'm like, what the fuck? They're going pretty hard here for a kid's movie. I'm such an idiot. It wasn't until I left that I looked around and I realized that I was everybody there was like my age almost. Well, not my age. I'm fucking. Well, the guy next to me was like, he had like 10 years on me, but it was all adults. So, big swing and a miss for me, and we still had a good time. She loved the popcorn, you know. She still says it. She's walking around going, movie, popcorn. Yep. I go, loud, right? She goes, loud. So anyway.